What is body condition scoring? Well, it's a way of feeling and looking at a pet to determine whether it's accumulated fat and whether it's overweight, underweight, or just the right weight. Dogs are scored on a 9-point scale, where 1 to 3 is too thin, 4 to 5 is ideal, and 6 to 9 is too heavy, with 6 and 7 being overweight, and 8 obese, and 9 extremely obese. We can make this judgment by examining the pet's back, ribs, and abdomen. First, we'll take a look from the top and then from the side.
We'll start with Ferdinand. From the top, you should be able to feel the spine without pressing much. It should just be covered by skin with no fat. If the dog's short-haired, you'll see the vertebrae, but they shouldn't be overly prominent since that indicates muscle wasting. You should also be able to easily feel the hip bones, but they shouldn't jut out. And lastly, we should see a waist from the top. This dog's just right at 4.5. Here's a dog that's too thin. First off, his head looks too big for his body. Then from the top, you can easily see all of his vertebrae jutting out, even though his hair coat is thicker than Ferdinand's. His hip bones are also too prominent. This bony appearance is due to loss of muscle mass on top of low fat accumulation. Here's Max. You have to press hard to feel his vertebrae and his hips. And he has no waist. Max is obese. He scores an 8.
Next, we look at the ribs and abdomen.
Here's Ferdinand again. Remember, he's an ideal body weight, 4.5. Skin is fairly thin, so you should be able to feel each rib without having to press much. If your dog's short-haired, you should see the last several ribs followed by an indentation where the abdomen starts. Your dog's abdomen should also tuck upwards. Here's Max for comparison. Again, you have to press hard to feel his ribs. And from the side, you can't really tell where his ribs end and his abdomen starts. Also, because his abdomen is filled with fat, he has no tummy tuck. At an 8, Max joins the 25% of dogs in the US who are clinically obese. Here's Kona again. His waist and abdominal tuck look good, but you can see too many ribs too easily, even though his coat is thicker than Ferdinand's. The clearest indicator that he's too thin is that his head is way too big for his body. His hind end is poorly muscled, and his hip bones protrude from the side, and you can even see his thigh bone or femur. In contrast, this greyhound is an ideal weight. She's a 4 or athletic trim. Note that her head is in proportion to her body, and she's well muscled. No muscle wasting here.
Why does it matter if a dog's overweight? Well, according to a published study in the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association, dogs that were a body condition score of 4 to 4.5 lived up to 2 years longer than dogs that were just slightly overweight, and they took about 2 years longer to develop arthritis.
So keeping your dog in the low ideal range, or some might refer to it as athletic trim, could delay painful arthritis like this for several years. Trim dogs also have fewer heart problems and breathing problems, and are easier for veterinarians to examine because we can hear their heart and lungs better and palpate their abdomen, bones, and musculature better. It's not easy to hear Max's heart.
Yeah, like it's my fault. I just eat what they put in front of my face.
Now that we know how to score dogs, let's take a look at a few more. Little head, big body. Layer of fat over the ribs, and the abdomen barely tucks up. No indentation after the last rib.
I stop when I'm full, but my owners keep offering me more tempting food. It's like they want me to be fat.
I give this dog a 7. She's overweight.
Here's another dog. Again, little head, big body. Her vertebrae and hip bones are hard to see and feel, and so are her ribs. She also has no abdominal tuck, and you can't see an indentation after her last rib.
Score her as an 8 or a 9. She's obese.
Let's compare to 2 other Australian cattle dogs. Here's Rudy, a 16-year-old cattle dog. He has a stocky build like the last dog. His vertebrae are easy to palpate. So are his hip bones. You can see a waist from the top, so he has an hourglass shape. His ribs are easy to feel. And his abdomen tucks up.
I'd give him a 5. Ideal.
Now for Zoe. Her vertebrae are easy to feel, as are her hip bones. Her ribs are also easy to feel. She has a well-demarcated waist, and her abdomen tucks up.
I'd give her a 5. Ideal.
Now it's your turn. We're off to the park with BJ Runquist to take a look at some dogs that get plenty of exercise. Will they score 4 to 5, or will they be overweight?
Thanks, Sophia. Hi, BJ Runquist here with Dog Central News, where we're live in Davis, California, and we're watching Dr. Delaney do some body scoring on some of our canine companions. Let's see how Corky's doing. Corky's a little anxious because Dr. Delaney is not wearing gloves. The score is a 6, which means Corky is actually 10% over the ideal body weight that we'd like to see Corky at. All right, now we're here with Dr. Delaney and Santiago. I think he was really impressed with the abs. He got a 5. Good job, Santiago. All right, Bandit's up next. Now, Bandit's kind of a stocky, looks like he pumps some weights, and let's see how Bandit does in his body scoring with Dr. Delaney. 5. Okay, that's a good ideal body weight for Bandit. A little bit more than athletic number that you might see, 4, which you might expect with a dog that's this active, which just shows that just activity level alone does not guarantee your body scoring. Up next is Maya, another real energetic dog, a little short in stature, and the owner has maybe a little bit of trouble figuring out what this body score would be, as I would. Let's see what Dr. Delaney thinks. A 6. Too many Scooby snacks at home. Sorry.